The black box. My parents banned me from attending my sister's wedding and warned me, if you show up, never call us your family again. So I stayed home. Instead, I sent the bride a carefully wrapped black gift box. The moment she opened it, the music stopped and the entire wedding began to collapse. Part 1: The Betrayal. The story didn't start with the gift box. It started 2 years earlier, when I introduced Sienna to Arthur Vance. At the time, Arthur was my fiancé. He was a polished real estate investor with expensive suits, an effortless smile, and a remarkable ability to tell people exactly what they wanted to hear. My mother adored him. Soon, subtle shifts began to happen within our family dynamics. My mother started making quiet, pointed remarks about how Sienna was supposedly more suitable for a man as ambitious as Arthur. Shortly after, while I was recovering in the hospital following a minor surgery, my father transferred my shares in Vance Crest Holdings-the company I had poured my life into building using documents that claimed I had willingly signed them over. I had signed nothing. Within months, Arthur broke off our engagement, proposed to my sister, and accepted the position of Chief Strategy Officer at Vance Crest Holdings. When I confronted my parents about the stolen shares and the betrayal, my father simply laughed. "You've always been too emotional, Eleanor," he said smoothly. "Sienna understands business." My mother arrived at my door 3 days before the wedding, wearing pearls and the same cold expression she used whenever she wanted cruelty to look respectable. "If you appear at the wedding," she said, "you will no longer be our daughter." My father stood behind her without speaking. Silence had always been his favorite response whenever defending me might require courage. Sienna never contacted me. She didn't have to. She had taken Arthur, my position at the company, and my place at the dinner table. Everyone assumed I stayed away because I was broken and ashamed. They were wrong. Part 2: The paper trail. What my father had forgotten was that while Sienna understood charm, I understood forensic accounting. I stopped arguing. For 6 months, I remained completely silent. I moved into a modest apartment, took independent consulting jobs, and let my family believe they had successfully pushed me out. While they celebrated their upcoming merger of lives and assets, I quietly dissected every financial record tied to Vance Crest Holdings. What I found was far worse than simple corporate greed. Forged signatures and transfers, shell companies created by Arthur were actively siphoning funds out of Vance Crest Holdings, stolen pensions, deposits for the lavish wedding, venue and catering had been paid directly using funds taken from employee pension accounts. Insurance fraud. My mother's high-value jewelry had been insured for nearly 3 times its verified actual worth. Identity theft. Official board resolutions carried my forged signature, authorizing massive loans in my name. Then came the final piece of the puzzle. Arthur had been married before, and his first marriage had never legally ended. His wife, Brooke, was living in Seattle with their 8-year-old son. Arthur had simply abandoned them, moved states, and built a brand new persona on borrowed money and fake documents. I called Brooke. Once she saw the proof I had compiled, she agreed to cooperate. We weren't angry anymore. We were ready. Part 3: The Reception. On the day of the wedding, the black gift box arrived at St. Jude's Cathedral just as Sienna started walking down the aisle, smiling as though she had finally claimed the life that belonged to me, 10 miles away. I sat alone in my apartment and watched the delivery notification appear on my phone. Inside the box were copies of Arthur's active marriage certificate, a flash drive containing the complete financial trail, and a card that read, "Congratulations, Sienna. You finally received everything you took from me. Now open the file labeled Play Me." When the usher brought the box to the head table during the reception, Sienna opened it in front of the key investors, board members, and family friends. The flash drive was plugged into the venue's media system by a confused technician, expecting a sweet tribute video. Instead, the giant screens displayed a clear recording of Brooke detailing Arthur's bigamy, followed by an automated presentation detailing every forged document, stolen pension fund, and shell account. The music cut out completely. Part 4. The Aftermath. Within 48 hours, the collapse was total. Legal action. Federal authorities opened an investigation into Vance Crest Holdings for pension fraud, wire fraud, and forgery. Arrests. Arthur was taken into custody for bigamy and financial fraud. Corporate fallout. The board stripped my father of his chairman title to contain the scandal, while my mother faced an audit over her fraudulent insurance claims. That Tuesday evening, my phone rang. It was my father. His voice lacked its usual arrogance. He tried to speak, to offer some form of compromise, but I didn't need to hear it. "Don't call this number again," I said quietly, before hanging up and blocking them for good. I poured myself a fresh cup of coffee, opened my laptop, and began drafting the paperwork to reclaim my rightful shares in the company. The chapter was finally closed.